Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lichess Liga 3B Team Battle. We are here. I'm here with Grandmaster Danny Gormally. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Natasha. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Great, great. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm so pumped for this.
Today.
Sorry?
I hear you've had a good result today.
I've had a decent result. I drew with a 25.90. It's probably the best result I've ever had, like in the Florence this season, because the Florence this season has not gone well for me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Let's say about today's game then.
Well, yeah, it was quite an interesting game actually. I sacked the exchange. It's like a typical Sicilian exchange sack, and initially the engine says it's not that great, but then it starts to realize, because like in a dragon,
yeah,
you can often sacrifice exchange for compensation, even in the end game.
You mean like rook takes c3 or something like that?
Yeah, so it was like some position where I went rook c3, and then I took. We exchanged queens. He went queen c3, so I went directly into an end game. So I haven't actually got any material for it, but it's But this looks like queen. Yeah, taking is normally actually a slight mistake, because now black gets very easy position like f6.
F6, yeah, I was thinking that.
Which one is our guy? Our
guy's black. Hugo Rune. We're going to be, in general, we're going to be playing from the bottom of the board if I click the right things.
See, I don't like that move either, because that's going to run into c6 with tempo, because c6 is a move that black wants to play in these positions, because it stops the white knight going to d5.
Yeah. This looks nice for Hugo Rune then.
So maybe queen d6, just put the queen in an aggressive position. He's gone queen d2. Now I quite like maybe knight c5, just develop the knight.
Okay, and black doesn't mind to swap queens.
Oh no, there's a trap.
Isn't there a tactic?
Yeah, knight c5. Yeah, you spotted it. Queen d8 and then knight e5. So I blundered as usual. But yeah, queen e8 is a much better move.
Hugo Rune saw it, so that's the main thing. Oh, opposite side castle.
I don't like that move. I think the white king is far too out. It's a really bad move. I think eventually black should put a knight c5, play f5, a5, go for a checkmate. Like knight c5, some kind of knight c5 move. Yeah, he's played it.
He's done it.
So it's not. The problem is as well here, Natasha. It's very hard for white to find a plan. I mean, what's your plan?
Oh, he's gone b.
G4, very aggressive move.
G4.
Can you
Hello, Kenworthy 39, not Gary. How are you? Have you been keeping up with Blackpool? I haven't been keeping up with Blackpool. I used to play Blackpool in the old days. I used to really like that tournament because I lived up in that area for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I remember.
I know my friend Martin Hamer has been playing Blackpool because I saw his Facebook status, but I don't actually know who even won the tournament.
I heard Amit Gartzi won the tournament. Yeah,
Amit won because I did see that Amit was playing Tristan Cox the first round this morning.
Ah, right.
Because they're both they went to school together. They're good friends.
They're good friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of like the stronger part of that partnership. Amit's a very well. I played Amit on a number of occasions.
He's really strong.
Some good battles. Yeah, I mean, but lately actually he's been getting the better of me. Like when we first started playing.
Really? Yeah.
When we first started, but he played in the I think even the World Blitz Championships quite recently, and he was actually doing really well at one point. He beat a number of like really high ranked players.
Oh no, you were right. You didn't. He beat someone really strong, didn't he, Amit?
Well, he beat this guy, this Russian guy. What's his name? Andreikin. I think he beat quite a few other good players.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he beat a number of very strong players. Yeah.
And now he's won Blackpool. So Kenworthy 39, not Gary. Were you playing as well? Martin Mitchell was doing well. No title players. No, there were. Amit Ghazi IM was playing. Yeah.
The Blackpool is kind of like it's kind of. It's a bit of a party town, Blackpool, isn't it? Would you say that's probably true? Like there's lots of.
When I used to work up there, that's what everyone did. So that you went out, you'd go to work in the day, you'd go home for about like half an hour, then you'd come back out in the evening. You'd go to Blackpool, but then you'd meet up with the same people you'd just been working with. That was what our work did anyway.
Yeah. Isn't that true of everybody really? I mean, it's like you just hang out. It's like when I play for NCL, you know, the downside of it is you just end up seeing people that you. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem here for White because he's got Bishop G4 coming, so White's backfired.
So Bishop G4 and now this knight.
Bishop G4, Rook D3, Queen F7 should be good for Black.
Yeah.
Although actually there's knight E5 there, so you have to be careful because Rook D3, Queen F7, you got knight E5, Bishop E2, knight takes F7 check.
Okay.
So
maybe you just go Rook D.
I'm not so sure. Rook D8, yeah, you could play, or Queen E6. It feels like there should be a win here somewhere.
Yeah, this feels like it should be really good for Black, doesn't it?
It feels like. I mean, actually, you could take first. You take on D3, Rook take, then you go knight G3 and Queen F7. Oh no, you still got knight E5. Okay, yeah, maybe something like Queen E6 or knight F4 is good. But yeah, no, I remember going to Blackpool back in the day, and it was actually it was a slightly more prestigious tournament back in the day. It seemed to be like a bigger entry, or like
because they used to play in. There was the Winter Garden. Now you can take on F3. There was like the Winter Gardens where they used to play. But they've switched the venue around. One year, didn't they play in the Blackpool Tower? I think they might have. One year, which is where they do all that ballroom dancing and all sorts.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, the knight can move now. But it's still really good for Black.
It's still quite good. I mean, a lot of the thing about just winning positions when you're better, Natasha, is just keeping control. You know, just don't allow your opponent any cheapos or tactics, or you know. I mean, I pulled off a bit of a swindle yesterday against Mark Hebden.
How did your swindle go against Hebs?
It was he kind of fell into it a little bit because he had quite a lot of time left. He only had one move to play before time control, and he kind of I think he'd kind of written me off, which is understandable because
a dangerous thing to do, Danny.
Yeah, but his recent score against me is very good, so he kind of written me off, I think, and he just thought that this is going to be like easy. But there was one tactic left in the position. That's often all you need, just one tactical idea.
Yeah.
And after that, yeah, it started getting.
It feels like there should be tactics here for Black, doesn't it? It does to me anyway.
Yeah, Bishop H6.
H6.
Well, just take on H3 actually, because there's no real. Well, it might be Rook B8 might be in the air actually, but it still doesn't feel like it should be enough. Like Rook B8, you just move the Queen, say. Even something like Queen F6 and Bishop G4 should be good. Like just allow Rook B7, and the thing is, the H pawn is going to be very, very fast. So it's, at some point, you move the Queen, move the Bishop from H3.
And Hugo Rune has to play fast. 16, 15, 14 seconds left. It's 3+2 today, so they do get an increment. Okay. Okay, Hugo's just going to queen the H pawn.
Yeah, I think unless White can really pull off a miracle here, this looks pretty one-sided, but he hasn't got much time. There's increment today, right? Yeah.
There is an increment, so he...
Yeah.
Oh, no. So one person swore and another person left his phone on in a one position. And so he lost.
He was deemed as lost. So he left his phone on in a one position, but was deemed as lost. Rules are rules, all phones switched off. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky because I don't have a phone.
Oh, don't you?
Well, I did have a phone before, but I smashed it out of anger.
No.
And
out of anger, really?
Yeah, because it refused to charge properly, and I started losing my rag.
Oh.
Yeah, Black's losing control here a little bit, but
yeah, King.
Yeah, it should be enough.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, but also I never take my phone to the boards because I think I never understand why they allow actually people to have their phones by the side of the board full stop. I think if you got a ban on technology, I don't care if the phone's off or on, you shouldn't really be allowed to have your phone there by the sideboard. And I actually said to the Florence people today, I said, one of the arbiters, I got contacts him on Facebook, Alex, and I said, Alex
Holacek.
Holacek, yeah, exactly. And I said to him that he should have a delay on the Florence because on the live broadcast there's no delay, so people could very easily cheat. You know, like you could just go to your teammate in the bar and he could have it on his phone and then give you like a signal, you know.
Yeah.
Because everybody.
Yeah, I think going to the bar is that's probably more plausible than switching on a phone that you've got off by your board.
Yeah, but he said, which is probably true, that there's nobody who's like pinged on the what you call it, they run some kind of simulator or something to see if anybody's looking at. See, I'm slightly concerned about the white king here, but I think it can hide on G2. I mean, H2 seems to be hanging as well here. He's gone F4, so that stops Queen H2.
So he's going to go what, King F1?
Well, yeah, maybe, but no, Queen A6 is a decent move. So now I would probably try and move the Queen again and try and get the Queens on here. Yeah, I've done that. You still got to be careful because there might be a threat of Queen C2 there. King D2 I don't like, yeah, because now Knight E4 check. This is starting to look a little bit ropey because if you come back to E1, I've got Queen C2.
Yeah, and if you go up to D3, there's Knight F2.
Exactly. So, yeah, but now he's blundering E4.
Shouldn't he have tucked? Well, sorry, I don't know if it's he or she.
D5 is very clever, so he wants to take on F6.
Okay. Yes, I see.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure how you respond. You could play me like Queen C5 here, just hit the rook. But then Rook G2, you got the same issue. But then Queen B4, yeah. So Queen C5 is very strong here because if you move the rook, but then maybe King F1, but tough move to find, right? So Queen. It's very complicated, but it feels like the white king's just too exposed here. Like Queen C5, King F1, there's moves like maybe even just take on F3 or go Knight takes D5. I mean, no, Knight D5 allows rook.
You still got these threats on the Knight on F6 and on G7. He's gone back like that. That's so.
It feels like White's starting to come back into the game a little bit. Knight E4 though, but the problem is that Queen on A6.
I was just about to say
this Queen out of the way because how is that Queen helping?
You could go back to A1, Queen A1,
exactly.
and
you've got to try something like that. I don't think it's going to work, but you've got to give it a punt. Queen A1 F6 is probably good. If you take on E6, Bishop A3, I've got Queen C3 check now.
Oh, Queen C3 check looks.
And then King F1, something like, also good. Threatening, it's looking terrible now. There's Queen F2 coming in.
Yeah.
So this looks, a lot of game over.
Oh, checkmate.
Oh dear.
Okay. Unlucky mega hyper bullet.
Interesting game.
Yeah. Okay, let's see who else we have. Hugo Ring we've seen. Let's see KH Swampy, whose opponent is berserking.
Danny's point is correct in my opinion. Oh, about the phones, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that every tournament now, there's so much dodginess that goes on. That I think that every tournament you need to have a delay, really.
Do you feel like there really is a lot of dodginess going on?
Well, not necessarily, not really, no. But I think I just wouldn't allow even the possibility of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the number of over the board sheets is very low.
Do you find yourself thinking about it during the game? Like, is someone cheating against me? Thanks for the follow.
Not really, no. I mean, there were a couple of instances I remember before in the past where I played over the board tournaments. I mean, obviously I've been cheated against a lot online, which most people have
Yeah.
By now, right? And maybe some people have even indulged themselves, you know. But well, obviously they have, because otherwise nobody would have
Some
been
people
cheating
have,
this.
because it's this often. Yeah.
But yeah, over the board, I have had I remember I played one guy who was from Russia, and he kept running out. I was playing him in a tournament in. I mean, I don't know if he was cheating. He's like an IM, this guy, and I played him in a tournament in where's that home county? It was actually where I was born, Hartford.
Kent.
Hartford Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he basically beat me in about 17 moves with white, and he seemed to spend very little time at the board. He kept running as soon as he made a move. He kept sort of running out, you know.
Yeah,
almost like he was like, because he's like a businessman, this guy. So it's almost like
right. So he was probably doing deals, but it made you kind of wonder.
Yeah, and the fact that he played the game perfectly and basically gave me no chance whatsoever. I think now I would kick up a fuss. But at the time, I wasn't really. It was only really with the benefit of hindsight. I was like, actually, this guy's maybe a bit dodgy.
Not sure why Black resigned, but
okay. Black was a rook down, yeah.
Oh right. Okay, so now we have more players. Let's see. Let's see Wood Pusher. Okay, we can see the whole game, and so we have a Nimzo.
Oh, this is a sort of line similar to what I was looking at earlier, where you can do this against the Queen C2 Nimzo as well. You put the pawns on D6. It looks a bit slow, but it's very difficult for Black to go wrong. So now you're threatening to take on C3 and go E4. So White has to be careful. So play Queen C2 is a good move. I think a good move here would be something like Rook E8, just continuing with the same idea.
Aiming for E4.
Yeah, I don't think you need 8-6. It wasn't a direct threat. This is probably not a terrible move either. 8-6. Now take. That's the whole point of Nimzo. Just take on C3. So he's going to take back the pawn, and now play something like Rook E8. Queen E7 is pretty reasonable. So maybe White should play E4 himself. Yeah. It's almost like they're listening to me. Got a Gorm cam.
Okay.
So I'm wondering whether Black will eventually go for the standard plan of, I mean, like A5, B6, Bishop A6. I wonder about that, you know. But the problem is here, you can't really put much pressure on C4. You can get the bishop to A6. But what does it do after that, right? So what is Black's plan here?
Black's plan here, after what? To get Bishop A6, then we're aiming for that C4 pawn.
Yeah, G5, very weakening move, but probably not a terrible move because White can't really exploit it. Well, I mean, very kind of.
Thanks for the follow, Whirling Chancer.
Yeah, so what would you play here, Natasha, if you were Black?
Black. Oh, I think what he's trying to do now is knight F8 and G6. Perhaps he wants to get the pawn to F5.
Yeah, I mean, knight G6 now makes, this is actually quite well played by Wood Pusher. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of very engine-y stuff. You know, you put the pawn. There's one thing you notice now when you analyze with computers, they're very rarely reluctant to like push their pawns in front of their king. Whereas human players are like a little bit scared of, like, you know, back in the day we were always taught that you shouldn't really push your pawns in front of the king like this. But in the Nimzo Indian, it's very hard somehow for White in this position to gain an attack. Yeah, maybe maybe Bishop E6 is a good move, or Knight F6, King H7.
Oh, that feels like it's lining up. You know, like, or the bishop and the queen are lined up against it there. Ah, he's going for the G file. So you're doing some writing, are you, Danny, at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm finishing up a book, and then I'm planning to write another book. But the problem is, I think unless you write an openings book these days, it's hard to sell a lot of copies. If you write a successful openings book, probably a lot of my books are like about general improvement, and they haven't done that well. Like the last book I sold, according to my publisher, the numbers are not that great because of COVID, and obviously,
is that the one, your book about life as a pro during COVID?
Well, you're in the world of the chess world. Yeah, sorry, the pandemic shark. Yeah.
Yes, pandemic shark. That's right.
That's a slightly different one.
Danny, I've bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh yeah, have you not read it? Oh, it's terrible.
But I have bought it, which is half the battle.
Exactly. Thank you for buying it. But
but the next step is to read it.
Yeah. The other book I was referring to sold 550 copies, which is really poor, actually.
Okay.
Is The Comfort Zone. So I was hoping it would sell a bit more than that. Pandemic Shark.
Comfort Zone, because Pandemic Shark I remember, and The Year in the Life of the Pro I remember, but I don't remember Comfort Zone.
Yeah, but the Comfort Zone. It was another book I wrote. I wrote so many, and so
now that's on Prees, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like Bishop F5. I don't like what Black's done here. He's actually played a really good strategic game, and now he's collapsed. I didn't think F5 was necessary. Actually, you could prepare that. People often play with a lack of patience. You know, I mean, I was talking about.
Maybe we're distracting. Maybe he doesn't know the comfort zone.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
one of the things listening to our stream and getting distracted. Maybe.
I know. One of the things I talked about in the comfort zone is how you can play certain openings, and like I can play the Najdorf to a very high level. Like the game I played today, I felt like I played at quite a high level because you know I'm drawing with someone like quite a lot higher rated than me with Black because I'm comfortable in that position. I'll probably understand that position as well as he does.
Yeah.
But it's just because I played that opening from when I was a kid. But But yeah, he's probably got more understanding of you know, I mean, he's wider, shall I say?
Yeah.
In the sense that I think, the stronger you are, the more you know about more positions. Like someone like Magnus will like understand lots and lots of different positions to a very high level. Whereas I'll be like,
wood pusher is.
Oh, that's quite crafty.
You can't go King F2 because it's mate, so he has to go
it's going to be
King
mate
H3.
whatever you do, I think.
Yeah, it will.
Be careless there by White. Didn't need to take on F4 at all. So no, he did after knight. He could have taken with the bishop, Natasha. Because now there's Queen G3. Yeah, if you go back, actually, if you look at that game, just quickly look at it. I think instead of what was it? After knight F4 check.
Here.
Could have just taken with a bishop, and I think that was good. Yeah, he could have just taken with a bishop because now if you go GF, I go like G4 and like H5. But now I've got time. I can actually simply go H3. Probably that's just going to stop your attack. So there's not a lot going on there, and it's pretty much game over. So a little bit careless there. You know, don't open files against your own king.
No. Okay. So, well, swindled wood pusher. And let's see. Now, is the Knight of Spring playing at the moment? No. We've seen those. Let's see Ferrari fan. So no books on the opening Van Gate Dunst opening. I don't even know what that is. One knight C3 and then E4. But didn't Lawrence Trent did a course on one knight C3?
Probably. I mean, I know he did line on a 1B6. Yeah, he'd probably done that one as well. I mean,
yeah, Lawrence Trent. If you look up on Chessable Kenworthy 39, look up Lawrence Trent, one knight C3, you'll find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think I even have it.
I mean, there's a lot to these.
Another thing I have that I haven't fully.
Yeah, that you haven't bothered
yet.
to read. You just buy them, and then you find that you buy a lot of stuff that you just never, like clothes as well. I find I buy a lot of clothes and I end up never using them.
Yeah.
Or like, there's lots of stuff that I buy and I never use it, right? But yeah, the whole problem in the books market at the moment is kind of knight takes b3 or 94. 94 runs into bishop. 94 bishop d5, knight c3 was quite strong. But rook b8 now, maybe rook b8. We have rook b5 is a good move, or just double rooks like rook b1.
Yeah. Rook b1. You could kind of take and go f5. Is that? Oh no, but then rook b7, and then your king's a bit exposed.
Oh, rook b7.
Oh no,
fine. Yeah, because ft4, I got rook c7 and rook c6. It's very clever.
Yeah, can't work it out.
We could play f5 immediately, actually, because that wouldn't then rook b7.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ferrari fan has done it. Yeah.
So this is looking quite reasonable for black.
You could still go rook b7, couldn't you?
No, but that wouldn't work because I would take on g4 because rook c7, I had moved the king. Rook c6, there was a rook b1. Now knight d7, no king f6. Yeah, this is looking quite good for black.
I like how Ferrari fans playing this.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, slightly better for black, but I'm not sure if it's enough to win. Maybe e4 and then knight c5. Yeah, because you've got a better structure, which is often all you need. So knight c5 now, but then knight c4. But then you go knight a4, knight a5, knight c3. You end up winning a pawn. You've got past c pawn. So knight c5 is a very strong move. Yeah, now white's in a bit of trouble.
Because knight and pawn endings, you can win these, can't you? I mean, it's much more like winnable than like a bishop and pawn ending or something.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And having the better structure is very important. I actually learned this in the game I played against Radanovic. I don't know if you remember a guy called Javica Radanovic.
I do.
And he won Hastings.
He used to stay at the Hennigan's house.
Yeah. He's from London, or I think he's from something like
Draw agreed.
Yeah, draw agreed. Well, actually, black was better there. I think he's from somewhere like the Balkans. But he, I played him in the Hastings a few years ago, and we got this endgame, which really should have been a draw. But I was grinding. Suddenly, finally got into a winning position. I played a great game, actually, even if I say so myself, which is rare for me in an endgame. And I did all the hard work, and then suddenly I lost on time because I misread the time control. And he was pointing at the clock, and I thought he was resigning. He was getting really excited. And thought, oh, he's been doing the gentlemanly thing and resigning.
Oh, no.
And it turned out that I'd lost on time. So
what a shame. I feel like h4 here. I don't know why.
Yeah, or maybe even g4, but g4 creates a weakness on f4. So it's actually probably just a draw this endgame. You know,
what do you prefer, the bishop or the knight here?
I prefer the knight here because I think the bishop is just not really doing it. He's not got any targets.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the knight can, the knight can come. It's a little bit like the endgame Zoe had earlier in the 4NCL where the good knight against a bad bishop.
Yeah. How did Zoe do?
She drew, so that was a really good result. Yeah, she drew. So
she was playing against who?
I was playing against someone with not a great rating, similar to hers, I think. But I mean, the guy played pretty well.
Yeah,
he had a good position from the opening. But I kind of feel like either dynamic positions where she needs to play really dynamically, she doesn't play dynamically enough. And positions where she just needs to sit there, she tries to play too dynamically.
Okay.
So it's slightly
knight g3 to f5.
Yeah, that's a very clever idea. Yeah, yes, well spotted. But black, yeah, you could do it here as well.
Yeah, knight g. Oh, he's done it. Henny penny. Here we go.
Because also I've got a route here like king g4, right? King g4, knight f5.
Yes. Oh, right, and then come in
f7, maybe king f7. Now knight f5. What's the king? Oh, that's a good move actually, because now, yeah. So g6. Oh, but it might just be a draw now because the black king could just wait on f7. Like bishop e5, yeah. And how do you ever make progress? I can go king g4, knight g1, knight f3. But again, you just hide with the king on f7.
This is a draw now, right?
It should be.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Now, White did have a chance there, I think. He definitely had a chance to win that, but you've got to be very careful that your opponent doesn't blockade the position.
Let's. Oh, actually, I won't do it when he's very short of time. Knight of Spring. He doesn't like us commentating sometimes because I jinx him.
Who's that? Oh, Knight of Spring.
Knight of Spring. Right, let's
follow him anyway. Follow him anyway.
We will. But not when he's only got 20 seconds. We'll do him next game.
This looks quite good for White, actually. But this guy, we've seen this guy earlier, this Vladimir Jury.
Now, what happened with him? Oh, he was playing.
Massively underrated, yeah.
He played Wood Pusher.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he lost in the end, although he wasn't.
Yeah, he got checkmated. He was winning. It might be a junior. I got a feeling. Is it a junior? Can you click on the profile?
No, let's see.
I bet it's a junior, right?
If
but you probably won't say.
Maybe you won't know. I'm gonna have a little look. Remember, since 18th of April 22, he's not in many teams.
I just have a feeling it's probably a junior player. It's like one of these underrated juniors. You could take on c4 here. And that's probably, well, it's still better for White, I think, because the problem is this weakness on a7. You can never solve it.
Right.
Because, yeah, just take back for White. Actually.
Okay, this is just. So now we've got a threat of coming in on d3.
Yeah, it's still, it's not that bad, but you're probably going to have to bring the rook back to d7 because otherwise a7 is going to drop. And then I'll go c5. So now if you go queen d3, I chop, g3, rook d7, c5, takes, bishop takes, and then a7. But then you got rook b7, actually, so it's a draw.
Maybe we don't want the queens off just because we can try and hassle the white king. Like, say, rook c8 threatening queen b5.
Yep, that's clever. Very clever. That's what he's played.
And maybe we want to actually regroup our bishop as well because it looks a bit closed in. So like bishop either h6 or f8.
I would have played maybe something like queen b3 just because I'd prefer to keep the rook on that a7 pawn, but maybe I'm getting too optimistic.
Hi, David Wilson. Hi, Ocelot.
Yeah, bishop f8 is a good move here.
David's played it.
As soon as I say it, he's like, right. Well, because you see you got a potential blockade on c5 now.
Yeah.
And now White's position is not looking that hot. You know, just bishop c.
I played it before you said it, says David Wilson.
Queen d2 might be. Yeah, bishop c5 is a good move. Yeah.
I was going to say black has control of the d-file, but actually white could slip in a rook d1. But then we can go. Oh yeah, now this looks nice, doesn't it? Nice active queen. Because look, what about like queen g1? Yeah.
Practically, it's so hard to defend these because your king is so. Maybe it's not losing by force, but it's just so hard to defend. Like rook c7, you know, at some point.
But you can even go queen h1,
queen h2,
queen f1.
Or what you could do the other way around. You could go rook takes c4, rook takes.
Yeah.
And then queen h1, queen h2, queen f1, and then take on c4. But
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that might be a draw though, because you go Queen C6 at the end. Might be a draw, and you're quite active. But I don't suspect that. Yeah, because you can't really necessarily do anything with the queen side. So keeping the queens on is or keeping the rooks
I guess
on.
David's trying to get his rook to the d4. Yes.
Now it's big problems. Yeah, now it's dead lost. This is why actually what he's done is a much better practical way to play than going for the technical queen and pawn.
Nice play, David. Excellent. We're very impressed. Well done, you. Okay. And thank you, says David. Okay, let's.
Well done, David. Someone said hello to me in the breakfast table today, and I was very rude to him.
Oh, David did.
No. Somebody said hello. I don't know who it was.
You know who it was?
No idea. I get that randomly at chess tournaments. Somebody says hello, and then I'm like, it's like early in the morning. I'm kind of rude, you know. And then I'll feel bad about it later because I'm like.
But you can carry it off because you can just pretend that's your image. Like you can be like grumpy.
Well, it is my image. I don't need to pretend. I've thrown rook a2 here.
Rook a2 check. Intermediate move.
No, because now he's got like, oh no, hang on, you got an extra rook anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like a4.
Oh yeah, black's just winning.
Yeah, rook takes a2, and then bishop c2, and then probably just bishop e4 is good. Exchanging more pieces, should be getting closer to the goal of winning the game. Do you tend to, like, when you play your games, Natasha, do you tend to sort of like do a lot of calculation, or do you tend to generalize a lot?
It does depend on the time limit, but I try and make myself calculate, but there is quite a lot of just thinking this must be the move.
And when you calculate, do you do like the what's it called, like the Kotov tree, where you kind of branch out into branches and sort of like, you know, would you work on your calculation?
I don't think I do anything as formalized as that.
No. Do you work on your, what would you say, like in chess, what would you like your biggest strength in terms of, you know, from as a junior and going onwards? What would you say?
So I think the sort of positions where I sort of feel like I like is when I've got the initiative, it's not necessarily really clear. But to kind of make something of that, not like a little positional edge, but more sort of active pieces of initiative. That's the sort of thing I like in my play. Yeah,
because I remember you beat me in a rapid play once.
I remember that too. Yeah. I didn't really know the opening that time, but it was sort of.
It was kind of like some kind of e4 c5, and I did an early queen d4, and that's kind of a risky line to play as white. And then you punished me quite.
You got your queen into trouble, didn't you? I remember because you were doing checks on me, but I could maybe block it.
Maybe I was doing well at one point, but then I screwed it. I think I was in a kind of a depressed mood because I remember losing to a Chinese kid in that same tournament called Bai Jiangxi, who's now a GM. And at the time,
oh my goodness.
I remember him thinking he was a bit cocky because he was like playing his moves and he'd get up to take a walk around, even though it was like a rapid play tournament.
That was the London Chess Classic?
Yeah, because they used to do like a super rapid play, didn't they?
Yeah, nice tournament it was.
So.
Yeah.
So here maybe it looks like black is better.
So this kid's now a GM.
Yeah.
They had a lot of strong kids one year. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's lots. Apparently, Ali Reza I saw this earlier on Twitter that he's considering going into fashion design because he's. Is
that true or a joke?
Yeah, I mean, people thought it was a joke, but apparently he said it wasn't, and it was actually he's got some kind of designs on getting into the fashion because Magnus Carlsen did a bit of modeling, didn't he?
Yeah.
So there is some kind of history with that kind of thing, but I think the thing is as well, I think people assume with these kids and like these kids who play chess, that's all they're going to do, and that's what they're going to do as a career.
Yeah, but they might not want to.
But they might not want to, and they might think that actually just doing chess is quite limiting, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, there's more to life.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. So now we can take on d5 and take on b6.
Yep. Exactly. Or even, yeah, no, bishop d5. I was going to say bishop b6, but the knight on a5 is defending.
Yeah.
I mean, you could actually take. You could have taken on b6, bishop b7, knight b7, rook b1.
Oh.
And then if f6, I'll just go rook b6 anyway.
So now we can take this and pin. Oh, not pin now.
It's probably going to be a draw, but if anyone's better here, it's black because of the very strong bishop on d5. Very, very powerful bishop. So what I would do is probably I would just start pushing the pawns. Like f6 is a good move, or h6 is also a good move. And then try and bring the king towards the center. Like g5 at some point would be, yeah, king h7 and g5 is or king f5. Yeah, king f5, and eventually.
Oh, I see. Actually, I didn't see what you meant about that bishop at first, but I do. It's like horrible for the king, isn't it? As well.
It's horrible for the king, and the black should try and free that rook. I don't like h5 at all. I think the black needs a g5 break to kind of threaten g5, threaten the pawn h4. I didn't really like. He could still go king f5 and f6.
Draw.
Well, that's. I mean, I would not have agreed to draw there. I think
wouldn't you?
Play left.
You'd have played on as black.
Certainly as black.
Yeah.
Black is better, I think. And but yeah, objectively is a draw in that position.
Oh, let's see David Wilson again. Given his last game,
the guy's a legend.
He's a legend, yeah. And he won't let us down.
This looks winning for white. It seems to be a piece up.
I mean, he's threatening bishop e5.
Yeah, I mean, if you go f6, I can just drop the queen back. Like queen e3 is probably good. Knight e2, just move the king. Like king f1 is probably going to be good enough. King h1.
So I guess black will just take on g3.
Yeah, take on g3, queen takes, yeah.
Oh, but white's just a piece.
Yeah, it's just a simple piece up. It's not particularly like rook c1. Rook c1 seems good. And then if rook d3 also good. Rook c3 or h4. There's like every move wins basically. Maybe play f4 at some point. Just open up the f file.
Yeah.
So David Wilson, is he relating to Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody asked a question the other day, Natasha. I think it was Tim Wall.
Right.
Rook f3 should be good here, and I just go for the attack.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where's the weirdest place you've ever played chess?"
Oh, that's his mum.
Sorry?
David Wilson said, yes, it's his mum.
That was his mum, yeah.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever played chess?
Queen f6 here, I think, is good. Queen f6 and go for the attack.
I bet I've played chess in some weird places. But...
Yeah, I played like chess in.
Yes, go king h7.
But generally, when you play chess, you play it in like a town hall or.
Queen g6.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good spot. Yeah. Yeah, like a school is a very typical environment for a chess.
That's true.
Or a leisure centre.
Well done, David Wilson. And then grand places. I mean, there's like town halls and it wasn't chess. I played Go on the London Eye. They did this sort of
oh, nice.
session. Yeah, no, it was really nice. Like a proper, at night, all lit up. I don't know if we saw KH Swampy. Let's see KH Swampy anyway. That was very, very nice. And they had people from all around the world who were playing Go. And chess.
Can you go like rook d7 here? Rook d7 was good.
Rook d7?
Because if queen g5, I just move the king, and then I'm threatening e7 check. Oh, no, there's queen a3. Sorry, I blundered.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got rook d8 check here, and if queen d8, then e7. He's found it as well. And now you can just take the queen, like bishop takes e7.
Yeah, that was good. Well done, KH Swampy.
Yeah, rook d8 was winning, yeah, because of queen d8, e7. That's quite a nice tactic.
We timed it well that game, didn't we?
So how are we getting on in the tournament?
We're 9th. We're in the relegation zone at the moment.
Well, it's kind of to be expected, isn't it? Because, like you said, we don't have many players out tonight.
Yes, and we think it's partly due to a clash with a couple of tournaments. So there's the Florential and Blackpool on tonight. So
that's right.
So Mega Hyper Bullet is going for revenge against Black Ghost. And is a piece up actually and has a nice position.
Yeah, this looks.
But so there could be an attack against this white king. I could imagine if the so like say you go rook g1 or something.
Queen e4 check.
Queen e4 check, and then white.
Yeah, you got to be very good. Actually, I don't think that's good for white. No, you've got rook g2, and if rook h6, queen h6, so it's still winning.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, maybe like a situation like that where you're actually you're winning, but it's vaguely a bit of pressure. You should always go for the most forcing line. So like rook g1 was probably what he should have done, because after queen e4, then rook g2, you've got more options. Now you have
go queen g2 now though, can't we?
Queen g2 had rook h6 and rook g6.
Oh god, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so now you've got a little bit of a problem, but actually f1 still seems good. Like rook h6 now, rook h6. Little bit murky. Queen g3. Probably still.
So what if what happens if queen g?
With queen g3, I go rook h1.
Queen g2, rook h1, and then you lose. Yeah.
I go, yeah, queen c2 is a big threat. So actually white has screwed this up. So queen g2 doesn't work. So base is no good move here. You could try bishop d3. That might be the best option. Bishop d3, and if queen d3, rook h2. But now you're in trouble because rook h1 and queen c2 is strong.
Yeah.
No, he didn't see it.
Okay, so now we go queen, bishop d3, don't we?
Yeah, bishop d3, or yeah, exactly. Or anything that just prevents. No, still not seeing this threat.
Oh, he's trying to mate at the end, is he?
Yeah, so you could go rook h1, king e2, queen c2, king f3. But I doubt he calculated all that. I think he's just playing on feel, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't know what a rook is doing on d6. You didn't need to bring the rook into the game. You could have just won with that rook. Because now king f3 is very good for white. Yeah, because of the back rank problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So king f3, yes. Well done, Mega. And black cannot take this bishop because of rook b8. I could do out if I've been forgetting to do any arrows today, Danny. We need to.
That's okay. You're
rectify that immediately.
You're probably a bit like me. You're probably a bit tired.
Oh, I've been so tired. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a good move here for black because it seems like bad news. Whatever you do, it's bad.
Stops the mate, but we've got a trick because we can go rook b8 and then bishop d3 check forking the king and queen.
Yeah, exactly. It's game over. If he finds it, it's game over.
Yes, he's done it.
He's found it. Mega Hyper is quite a talented player.
Yep. Well done, Mega Hyper. Got revenge. Okay.
Again, with a name like Mega Hyper Bullet, you kind of think they might be a junior, don't you? Because it sounds like the sort of a name.
Yeah, it does sound like that. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we could see if we can. Oh, where's Mega Hyper? I'm going to just see if we know anything about Mega Hyper. Pavel Protopopov, London, England. Okay.
How do you spell the surname?
Protopopov.
Protopop. And then what? Sorry?
1 minute. Proto. P-R-O-T-O, and then Popov, P-O-P-O-V.
B-Day.
My Sky Smarts teacher is Yevhen Samelik. Date of birth 2013. Youngster, you're right, a junior.
Yeah. He just sounded like a kind of a junior player. He seems to be quite a talented player. Yeah. It's only 10.
Hi, Outspanner. How are you doing?
Hi, Outspanner. How you doing? Yeah. See, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm actually being polite to people.
Danny, how long can this last?
Not very long, I don't think. Yeah, I've got to have a rep. Yeah, yesterday I got really angry when I was playing against Mark Hebden because I realized,
so what happened against Hebs? You got angry with Hebs?
I realized I was losing. I screwed up.
Hi, Peter Dragon.
And I got a very bad score against him, and I got really fed up with myself, and I thought this is not acceptable. And I started losing my rag. You know, when you like losing your temper, and I lost my rag at the board. And
did you do it visibly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. So you know, these things happen, of course.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes, in a way, it can be a good idea. It's a problem with chess. You know, I was thinking, like, there's no way to let out emotion because you're supposed to act in a very reserved way at the board. You're not supposed to even talk during the game. And it's very hard to do, right? To just sit there and not have any kind of contacts. You know, because often you talk about like other sports and how people mess up psychologically, how they choke and everything. You know, like
you can tell in loads of sports. You can tell.
You can tell,
like in tennis, you can tell if they're getting angry, can't you? I mean, they're throwing their rackets around the court.
You can tell they're getting angry and they're getting upset.
Their play, like that Australian one. Remind me his
name. Nick Kyrgios or something.
Yeah, him. He and he's throwing his racket around.
Yeah, he's like the tennis version of the court. Yeah,
all those people. Yeah, they do well
with talent.
Yeah,
but they get away with it. Like if you do it in chess, you're seen as a. You know, there's recently actually there was this case about this guy Jabava.
Yeah, but that's a bit different, isn't it? Though, wasn't he?
Well,
he was saying some quite offensive things.
He was saying offensive things, but it was from a case of this very. Somebody put up a video and he showed a lot of examples of him getting angry.
Yeah,
and there was even a video where he played that.
David Wilson said Zaki Harari threw a bishop at me last Thursday.
Well, I can believe that. Yeah, I know that guy. Well, he's from London, right?
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. But there was a famous case where he was having this press conference with Anish Giri after the game, and Giri was doing his normal joking thing.
Yeah.
And Jabava said something like slightly threatening, like, I'm not the sort of person that you want to ironic. So it's not completely correct use of English.
Yeah.
But there's lots of videos of him streaming and he's really losing his temper and he's getting really upset and everything. I was thinking people don't really see that in chess because, we're used to people like Magnus. He shows really no emotion at all, really. And they're like robots. And when you see them after the interview, after the game, sorry, their interviews are very monotone and very boring. And it's like
I reckon a lot of top players get really upset when they lose.
Oh, they get very, very upset. I mean, I've seen videos of Magnus himself. As he like punching himself or slapping himself after he lost. It was like Will Blitz, and it's on YouTube, or it was on YouTube. And he was he lost to someone like Grischuk or Ivanchuk. I think it was like a couple of occasions, and he actually like punched himself after the game.
Magnus.
Yeah, because he's really upset that he screwed up. Because obviously these players, part of the reason they're so good, because they got very high standards. But going back to the game against Mark, I think even a way, obviously I acted incorrectly. At the same time, it probably helped me to kind of like get, because sometimes you can just sort of drift along and think, oh, it's okay, it's not such a bad thing to lose, and you can't have that attitude. You got to have the attitude, like, I'm going to fight, really, really, be really, really competitive, and not lose, and really like give myself a kick up the backside. Essentially, is what I did.
Yeah, but I think like you can get these responses, and you can get either for various things. You can get either upset or angry. I reckon for chess, angry is way more. You're going to play way better if you're angry than if you're upset. Because I sometimes do
yeah.
get upsets during a game, and if I do that, I do not play well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mistakes are made, you know, based on emotion. Like, so if you get upset, you're absolutely right. If you get upset, then you're distracting yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so this is a very important point.
Mm.
You're absolutely bang on. Like,
because another thing, right? So I've been, you know, well, we all have been playing quite a bit of online, and actually, I've been playing online shogi, as well as chess. But even online chess and online shogi. Say I'm playing,
yeah,
a match, and it might be. So shogi, I play a time control like 15 minutes plus a minute a move, a minute a move when you get into overtime. So it's reasonably fast, but not as fast as this. And I used to always think I would never play well with music on. And if I have music on, it's a distraction. But actually, I've been playing a league, and I won nearly every game this year. And I was putting on this like crazy, like just 80s music, just silly music.
Oh, is this an online league?
Online league, yeah. You play
Right.
against other countries and all sorts. And I did way better. It wasn't to do with concentration. It was to do with just like if you got in a bad position, which I often did. If I had that music on, I would save these awful positions and just play play advanced pawns down the center of the board and just play really well. And it didn't matter what I was playing. And I played so much better with music on than not. It was strange, actually, I thought.
Yeah, it's all about me. I mean, it's like, this looks winning for black because of this F pawn. Like, king can now come into F4 and start strolling in.
Oh yeah. This is very good for wood pusher.
So,
come on, wood pusher.
Yeah. It's all about what works for you, really. Yeah, so king d3 and then just go like push, very simple win, like e4.
So what do you do if you feel yourself getting angry? Do you just let yourself get angry?
Well, no, I don't want to get. I mean, I've got a bit of a problem with anger. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe caffeine related, or just generally I get very angry.
Yeah.
Well
done, wood pusher.
Just in general, it's quite scary. Yeah, it's not what you want. Not just talking about chess, just in general. You know, I get very upset. So it's like, how do you deal with that anger? I mean, sometimes, it's good to let it out because you don't want to bottle it up because then you get explosive anger. I mean, I read this book about anger management. But yeah, it's kind of
like you can sort of say words, you have words that you've prepared in advance that you say to yourself in your head.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he was more talking about how you're supposed to sort of write all this stuff down in a book, and also how you should, like, if you're annoyed with somebody, you should talk to them about it. You should explain why you're annoyed with them. The problem with the chess players is, like, let's say I get annoyed with chess players, which I often do.
Yeah.
Is just socially speaking, more socially or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like chess players are very stubborn people, right? So it's like it doesn't really matter if you get annoyed, and they're just going to ignore what you say or do anyway. Right?
I've probably told you about my argument with Mark Hebden way too many times.
No, I can't remember.
Not argument, but my so he was staying. This was years ago.
Yeah.
He was staying with me when he was playing the match against Keith Arkle. You know, the one where they played
I remember
that same variation of the King's Indian.
Oh yeah, the G3, the line where he sacks a piece against Keith.
Yeah. So I said he was sorry, we had this argument about that. But then and so I said, well, he shouldn't be playing this opening. Not, it's up to me what opening he plays, but it was like really irritating me anyway that he kept playing the same line and just losing.
Yeah. You would.
I just found it really annoying. I don't know why. Anyway, so he'd been sleeping on the sofa and I'd been sleeping in the bed. This was in my 1-bedroom London Bridge flat, and I said, okay, you can have the comfortable bed and I'll sleep on the sofa if you change your opening. And he did, and then he won the match. But then immediately after that, on the last day, Ushiko the bear, let's see Ushiko the bear. then we had this backgammon game. We were playing backgammon, and we had this just like huge row over whether the dice was cocked or not. There was one particular roll.
Oh, right, yeah.
God knows why. But
Mark is quite
he's stubborn, more stubborn than me.
He's
I think
quite a stubborn person, and he's quite a very competitive person.
Yeah, no, but he's great
and slightly argumentative. But then that's true of a lot of chess players.
Yeah,
not in a bad way. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way necessarily, but
well, I think they have to be argumentative to.
Yeah, me and Mark are kind of like
you have to be competitive, don't you, to be good at chess?
Exactly. I mean, Mark's a very good player. I mean, he's like very good understanding the systems that he plays. He's got extremely good understanding of them.
Yeah,
and he's just generally a very good player.
Yeah.
Him and Keith are big rivals as well.
But you wouldn't know Mark. You know, like Mark is very, and Keith actually both very sort of friendly. And when you meet them, they're
they're very friendly, but they're very competitive one another. And I've heard this many times where one of them tells me that they're a lot stronger than the other one, and you know, it ultimately doesn't really matter because essentially you're talking about, you know, we're messing around at a lower level.
Yeah,
you know, we're
I'm
not
sure
like
those two are both stronger than they would have been if the other one hadn't existed, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true as well. Probably
their rivalries kind of help them both.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, absolutely right. Yeah. No, that's a good call. Yeah.
Oh no, Peter Dragon lost his game on time due to listening to Twitch. Oops. Sorry, Peter Dragon.
Easily done.
Easily done. So I like this, I think. Ushka. So Ushka's Blair, isn't it?
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah. Blair Connell. Yeah, he's a nice guy as well. Good friends with Simon Williams.
Yes.
Another rival of mine, like one-time rival, but Simon isn't quite as competitive, I would say, in that respect. It wouldn't be like Mark and Keith in a sense. He's constantly comparing himself to others.
No.
But I think actually when Mark does it, it's more of a reaction to what Keith's doing rather than needing to do that himself. So it's kind of like a defensive reaction to what Keith is saying, like, you know, that he's better and all this kind of, you know, nonsense. So yeah, but yeah, I've had it for years. Yeah.
So who do you think's the stronger player, Danny? Mark or Keith?
Well, I mean, you know, I don't really like to say because you just get offended.
That was a bad question, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I would say that they've both got their strengths. I mean, Keith is a very good competitor.
Yeah.
He's very, very tough to beat. He's very resourceful if he gets a bad position. And he's a very good endgame player, obviously. You know, he's just all-round a good player. Mark is a very good analyst. Sorry, probably one of the best analysts I've ever come across. Certainly, got very good feel for the game. And he's got very good understanding.
Chat's votes 1-0 to Mark.
Yeah, 1-0 to Mark. Somebody's given a vote for Mark. Yeah.
Yep. Peter Dragon.
Yeah, probably Mark. Well, I mean, if you purely go on rating, then it would be probably we give the edge to Mark because I mean he had the highest rating overall. Well, he got to 2590. I think Keith's highest about 2540. So you can base this, you know, because the rating system doesn't lie, right?
Thanks for the follow, Danny Skills.
I would say they're roughly equal, but the thing is, when you're comparing people, the point I was trying to make earlier is it's a bit ridiculous because we're like miles behind the top guys in the world. These are the players you should be trying to compare yourselves to and trying to emulate and not worrying about whether you're slightly stronger than X person.
Yeah. True.
You know, it doesn't really matter, you know. And but yeah, I look at hi Danny Skills, hi Lichess Gary B. Sorry, Lichess. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I look at like some of the younger players coming through, and I guess their kind of rivalry is. I mean, one good player is Connor Murphy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He beat
He's doing
Spielman
so well. Yeah.
He beat Wayne at the last 4-CL, so he's obviously having a very good 4-CL. As Harry Grieve is a very good young player.
Yeah.
Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
You got people like Matthew Wadsworth and Marcus Harvey are also very good.
Yeah, and Ravi.
And Ravi.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ravi doesn't really play that much, though.
Oh, doesn't he? Has he started working then?
Yeah, I think he's got a full-time job, so he's kind of like. I guess he'll come back at some point and start playing a bit more.
What does Ravi do?
I don't know what he does.
Oh, that's nice.
Some kind of work, a job in banking, possibly.
Okay.
Bishop D6 check.
That's really nice. Well done,
Yeah, that's a bit of a brush.
Very good. Rook B7, nice move. Okay, let's see if we can see Peter Dragon. Oh, Greenbecker. We can see Greenbecker in a second. Let's see Greenbecker. Let's see Greenbecker first of all. Okay. Greenbecker black here has the rook and queen on that C file. So kind of white's got pressure on D5, bringing the bishop in.
Yeah, I don't really like black's position because it kind of feels like the knight on B6 is really there waiting to be hit with like A4, A5. And I mean, even though it's level material, white has the 2 bishops, which in the long term is a very strong asset. But the problem is, how do you respond to me like knight E8 at some point? You could even play it here. Like knight F8.
Yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? Just swap off.
Then maybe you just go bishop F4. He's gone bishop D4. So knight E8 now there might be.
He's done it.
Yeah, now maybe you could take on B6. Yeah, A4 and now A5 is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, always a problem that black has is actually in the last move you could have taken on an E4 and gone bishop E4, winning a pawn. So A4 was actually a blunder. If you go back a couple of moves,
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, there was a pin down here, and so
yeah, but he didn't see it. So D4 still quite good for white. I think the problem is his center is overextended, is collapsing, and G7 rook. No, black has no winning chances whatsoever.
Oh, that's quite a call, Danny. No winning chances whatsoever.
Well, I think that's exaggeration in this kind of competition because from what I've seen, people will always make silly blunders.
Oh, no, you can't rook C8. That's, yes.
Yeah, something like, rook D4 is a good move. But I would have been tempted to keep the rook on the C file, but rook D4 is... So maybe a move like...
It is a bit awkward, isn't it? Because could you...
Yeah, I'm not sure what
you take on...
rook D5 maybe at some point, Natasha.
Yeah.
Just to get rook E5 or something. You know, at the moment, D4 is kind of like stuck, right? And it's blocking the queen. Something like rook D5, and then bishop F3 is a good move, tidy up move. Put the king on G2. Rook D5 is coming. Yeah, take with the queen. And now, what do you do?
Maybe you should go like H5 or something like that, and just get the king.
Yeah. I was thinking exactly the same, like H5 or even H6 and put the king on H7, like B6 now, defend the pawn. Like just take control over the dark squares on the queen. B6 drops the knight, sorry, I'm blundering the knight. So so now you got a big problem. You can just take on A7 and you should have just taken on A7. You just won the pawn. But it's still looking like very dangerous pressure. Now Queen B7 is very good. Rook D8 also not bad. Yeah, Rook D8 looks winning.
That needs to get the...
Rook D7 now. Yeah, game over.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's not got enough time. Like he's I mean, he's not got any time, like, but yeah, but it's increment, so it's actually kind of pointless playing this on, to be honest.
Yeah, Ben's got not.
Like, if it was guillotine, you could try this and hope that the guy loses.
I suppose Bishop D5, yeah.
Rook G7 only move, maybe. Knight D6, now Queen B8 is very strong, or Bishop takes G8. Queen A7 is good.
Oh yeah, he's going to queen a pawn. Nice try though. Okay. I'm going to switch games actually because I think that might win this. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. We're going to look at SD Singh, who is berserking here.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, all those moves seem to happen very quickly. Like Rook D7 there, Natasha, and then when you
did that work?
Yeah, that's a move.
Oh, and 95. Yeah.
So just show that when he. Oh, you can't, can you?
It's hard to do, but I can do it. So we had it before castle's long. We were here.
Yeah, before. Yeah. So
yeah, and you can go takes.
Instead of C3, you go Rook D7, King D7, Knight E5.
Yeah.
If black goes Bishop F3, you have Rook E7, and then you get a technically winning position of two bishops against.
So if
rooks.
there, you take there, and then you recapture.
Yeah, typical tactic, you know. But he didn't.
Very nice, Danny. Well spotted.
That's what all the puzzle rush training is for.
Yeah. What is Aaron Summerscale doing these days?
I think he's still.
The last time I saw him was at the Young Chelsea Bridge Club with his dad, but this would be a long time. This would probably be 10 years ago. Yeah, playing bridge, and at the Young Chelsea Bridge Club, if you get a slam, you get a glass of champagne or something, and that all happened. It was me and Oscar. I can't remember whether I think it was Aaron and his dad got the slam against me and Oscar.
Yeah, I remember Aaron actually. Yeah, we used to have a bit of a nickname. I think it was Air Gun.
Yes, that's right.
He was a bit like Mark in the sense that he was very well prepped in certain systems, like the French. He knew very well, and yeah, he was a good. I played him in the British a few years ago. It was like 2015 British, and if I'd beaten him in the last round, I was black. I would have got into a playoff against Jonathan Hawkins, but it was a draw. So therefore, he frustrated me. But everyone at the time was telling me I was an easy pairing because you're black against Aaron. But he never plays. But I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. He's still a GM, right? He's still a good player.
Yeah.
You can't become a GM.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You don't do it by fluke. So it's like
I was going to see if we could find Peter Dragon because I think he's playing, but we don't see him in the. If I click, wait a minute, let me just do this. I know what I'm doing. You click on English chess players, and then it appears right at the bottom because I think we have other players. Oh, we've got loads more other players. Okay. Should we see? Oh, let's see. Is Ocelot playing? Let's do Ocelot as well. Yeah. Sorry. I'll get this in a minute. So let's do that one. Right, Ocelot.
Yeah. Queen E2 is looking quite good for white actually because yeah, you can take on.
See Meister Grogu. We're going to do that next.
Yeah. Knight C3 now. It's coming. I don't really like Queen C3 because the Queen was already developed. I would have made the Knight. Developed the Knight. Knight C3.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess white is trying for this trick, but Knight
E6.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to work.
No.
Yeah, so Knight D2 can be played. Maybe Queen D5, but yeah, suddenly black's better now. more active, and he's a pawn up.
Maybe knight.
Knight e4 was possible.
E4, yeah, to try and
get knight e4, knight f3, and then knight d4, and you're covering the f6 square. So
right.
Queen f6.
I would have said if I was black, I'd have taken on f3. I think.
Yeah, yeah. Knight d4 is good here. I think this is just good for black now. White's clearly gone wrong.
Knight e27.
It just seemed to be a pawn down.
92 check. 92. Was there a 92 check? Oh, if there was a 92 check, there was a 92 check. Winning the queen.
Yeah, winning the queen. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes. Thank you.
Not good.
Lichess.
It's good. It just looks winning for black anyway. You can't take on b7 because of bishop f2, like the same sort of tactic.
Oh yeah, that's
winning the queen. No, he's actually fallen for it. That's pretty careless. You got to see bishop f2.
Yeah.
Come on. If you can't see bishop f2, you should be doing more puzzle rush. No, that's terrible.
Right. So now move the queen.
Yeah, now queen c7. Actually, white is back in the game. He shouldn't have actually taken on b2 because he could have actually just taken on c7 at least. I think it's possible that black was better after queen c7 anyway because he's more active. But
this is okay now, is it, for white?
No, I don't think it is because you're a pawn down, aren't you? You're just pawn down, right?
Yeah. So
it's still Safa City for white. The danger you get. It's a little bit like my in-game against Mark Hebden that I had the other day where I was in big trouble. And yeah, bishop g7 is a good move.
All right, come on, Oslo. Oslo's up on the clock at least.
Bishop e3. I always put the bishop on a protected square in this kind of position. I would go bishop e3, just so that bishop is nice and secure on that square. Then you're free to activate the rook.
TV.
You're blocking the rook from coming down to rook e2 or something like that. If you go on bishop e3, you block the rook from coming down to e2, and then you're ready to play moves like rook c6. Rook d7, though, he's trying to get active. He's trying to go rook b7, right? Rook d7. This is a good try because if rook f8, then bishop d6.
Yeah.
But then there's rook e1 and bishop e5 check. So you could actually play rook f8 anyway.
He hasn't, though. So now white can take on f7.
Yeah, but this is also good, actually. This is probably better because now bishop d4. And, yeah, this should be good somehow. Like c2, you're stopping the checks. And you're ready to play moves like rook c1. Rook e4 is an interesting move as well.
Ooh, this is getting exciting.
Rook h4, maybe?
Check. G3.
Maybe rook h4 at some point is a good move because then you've... No, it's definitely not that move. That's a bad move. Now I should be able to make a draw somewhere.
Do we want to play a match with IM Real TV, ELO 1800? Maybe, but only after. Right, where were we? I've lost my tournament. Here we go. Okay, let's see, because there was wait. Master Grogu we're looking for. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Where is I can't see it at the moment. No. Let's see direct beat. Oh, we finished. Okay.
C4, controversial move. So B5 may be coming. Maybe B5, A5, B4. Try to create a weakness on C3. But I don't really like this version. Yeah, because you've given up the bishop pair, which I think in the long term is going to backfire on black. A move like G3 is not bad either. G3. Maybe rook B5 here, Natasha.
Okay.
Or knight D2. Knight D2. At some point, try and undermine that knight on. So yeah, I'll come back to what I was saying earlier. So when you're calculating, do you, when it's your turn to move, do you spend a lot of time generalizing? Do you think about the, the various plans that you might have, or the positional features of what's on the board? Or do you just basically just go for raw calculation?
In general, I'm just like, it has to be this move, and then just calculate the lines around this move, which I know is not what you're meant to do at all.
I often wonder, like with low-rated players, like why are they not playing at my level, right? Or or why am I not playing at Magnus Carlsen level? Well, I can kind of understand why I'm not playing at Magnus Carlsen level, because he calculates better than me.
Yeah,
and he just knows more than I do. I mean, lots of different reasons. But he's just a better player.
Yeah.
But why is it, say, like a 1900 player not playing at my level? What are they missing? What are they lacking? I think a lot of it is actually things that I take for granted, like visualization, that they can't visualize as well. Like I can see lines quickly and calculate quickly, and they struggle. They might be able to see the first few moves. So I think a lot of it is a lot of the reasons why lower rated players are lower rated players is it comes down to calculation. So the obvious answer to that would be what you should do is work a lot on your calculation. Because ultimately, when we are playing chess, all we are doing is calculating.
Yeah.
And it's become more and more like that. And I think Kramnik said this. It's like
Queen C2, yeah.
The old advice was that you would sit there and the old Russian advice is when it's your turn to move, you generalize about the position on the board.
Oh, when it's your turn,
you don't calculate variations.
Oh, roots increase, yes.
Because you don't know what your opponent's going to play, so you're saving energy, right? And when it's your turn to move, then you calculate.
Yes.
Which is fairly reasonable advice. But what Kramnik was saying is that nowadays, the kids now, all they do is calculate. They don't bother with any of the generalization stuff. It's all pure calculation. Because that's ultimately really the deciding factor between. So essentially, chess is just a game of calculation. It's just a calculation contest. That could be the subject of my next book, The Calculation Contest.
Yeah. Bishop D6, maybe. So when you're studying, the main thing you do is just tactics, and more tactics.
No, not really. I mean, I do a lot of that puzzle storm. I don't think necessarily helps you that much, but I think what you have to do is work on your calculation. So it's a good idea to sort of get a board out, a physical board out. Even what I do is I write down the moves in a notebook, because it kind of makes me more disciplined and used to calculating variations, like you would do when you're sat at a board during a tournament. You work, you're constantly working on your calculation to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is looking quite good for black, right? It's got quite a lot of pressure, even though his material is equal, but yeah, and I think one of the other things I would say, Natasha, is with low-rated players, what the difference is between, I would say, low-rated players and professional players is professional players, they start with a calculation, they start with the analysis. With amateur players, they tend to start with generalization. They tend to generalize too much,
Yeah.
Now maybe rook f2 is a good move here. Queen f5.
Argard has a book on calculation. Have you read it, Danny?
I have, actually.
Oh,
I think.
No,
if I've read it, maybe I think I've seen his book on positional play. But he's quite a well-known author. But it's not really much different from, say, the Dvoretsky books, which were very famous. So it's kind of like a continuation of that, I would say. But yeah, they're pretty good books. I think people rate them very highly. I think he recently switched from the Scottish Federation back to the Danish Federation.
Okay.
Because he's originally from Denmark, but then he started representing Scotland.
Yeah. Is he still living in Scotland?
I'm not sure.
As far as I know, he is.
I know he lived in Glasgow because of he was working for. He had a publishing company that was involved with called Quality Chess.
Quality
John
Chess,
Shaw.
Yeah.
Andrew Greet also works for them. Yeah, so suddenly White is actually the one who's pushing. So it's funny how the game has turned around over the last few moves because Black seem to have this was you remember what I said earlier about it's very important to keep control. If you're better, you make the moves to keep control of the opponent. I think that's something you can learn a lot actually when you look at Magnus Carlsen's game, or certainly I have.
Oh, this
Queen
is
C1 maybe.
A Queen C1.
But then Rook F1, and then Bishop H2. But it doesn't work. Bishop H2 doesn't work. You just take it because of Queen H5.
Yeah,
so you have to go back to H6.
Yeah.
The only move is Queen H6. And then White should just take on C4. The Queen G5
That's some praise. Oh, track beat.
It's game over, yeah. It's going to be checkmate.
Unlucky.
Queen H5 and Queen H6, mate. He won't miss that.
Oh, that's a shame. But we are in 7th. We're just out of the relegation zone. So let's check back in on Blair, who is berserking now. And he's top scorer or joint top scorer for the English chess players at the moment. What would you go? Bishop D3? Queen D3. Yes. Trying to come in on G6.
Yeah, King F7. Decent move. So White has to decide how do you go for the attack. There should be an attack here somehow. It feels like maybe I would have even tempted to take on H5 so that I'd have a Rook G1 option. Right, but G5 is fairly reasonable. And then say maybe Knight D7.
Maybe now do a lift. I was going to do a Rook lift, Rook H3. And
yeah, that's actually a much better idea. Because A3 now I have. Yeah, actually, suddenly Black is starting to look quite good here. I don't think Blair's played the last few moves that well.
We're probably putting him off. We're jinxing him.
Yeah. You haven't got Queen F4 here because of Rook F1. Just be very careful. Now, Black would ideally like to tuck that Rook away. Tuck the King away. But the problem is that you could go, you can now go Knight F8 and King G8 and tuck the King away. Because it still feels slightly awkward on F7.
Yeah. Okay, so Blair's going to try. Where's he going with this knight? He'd want to get in on E5, I suppose.
Yeah, Knight E3 is coming. Maybe Control C4.
Hi, roller coaster 123.
So how does Black improve? Feels like Black is getting close to equal now. I would play King G8, just tidy that King away. So then you don't have to worry about the King anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe B5 here. Yeah, you could even put the King on H7 because that would free up the Knight on F8 if you need to move the Knight later. I'm not sure where it goes to though. Maybe Knight D7 to B6. But still, that's a very clever plan. But yeah, so he wants to go Knight F3. Very, very strong idea. Because now G6 is very weak. So what you should do is move the Queen. And after Knight E5, then play King H7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it feels very ropey. It feels like there could even be kind of Knight G6 F5 ideas. Somehow, like.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. This feels very, very scary for
He could have put in Knight E5, couldn't he?
He could have done.
After BC3, maybe.
I think you don't need it. I mean, it's coming.
Right. Yeah.
Queen B. Yeah, but actually, no, this isn't good. I'm not sure this is such a good idea by. No, this is okay. I thought you had Knight C3, but it doesn't. So still problem because Bishop F1's now a threat.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That looks nice.
You have to be very careful now.
Okay. So knight. Now 95. It's got
this guy hit KB is actually, you know, he's playing it pretty well. I mean, rook a4 maybe, and knight's young. I mean, he's defending very resiliently, I would say. And now the problem is, now you have the F file open, which is another problem for black. So it seems like Blair is relentless. He's just constantly posing problems. Even though it looks like black solved one problem, now he's got another problem to solve. This is what you don't like when you're facing somebody who, you know, when you're facing certain players, and you just think like, can you just leave me alone?
Yeah.
You know, like they never seem to go wrong, and they just seem to constantly put you under pressure. And that's what it feels like with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, bishop d3 is a good move. Now, so you probably go back again. Yeah, I mean, black is defending very resiliently. But rook c3, though. Rook c3 was... No, he didn't have rook c3 because rook f8, sorry.
Yeah.
So, no, rook f8 last move. He had rook f8. He
must have pre-moved. Taking the knight.
He must have pre-moved rook b2.
Yeah.
Now it's game on again. But white's a lot better here. He's a pawn up. No, he's not a pawn up, sorry. But it feels
that knight's in a bit of a mess.
The knight's in a pickle. This is just winning for white, I'm sure, like because of the weakness on e6's long term is just there's too many pawn weaknesses here. Yeah, c4 is a good move. d5 at some point.
Oh,
knight c5.
Knight c5. No.
Oh, that's so careless, Blair. That's terrible. Yeah, it's painful to watch.
But he's still got a good position, right?
Nah, yeah, black has not played his last few moves. King b6. Now it's game on again. c7. Yeah, it's game on again now. In fact, white's now winning because King b7 is
still Blair. For 3 seconds left. Oh, but you get an increment. So you just
win this. Yeah, they did a very poor technique there by black.
Yeah.
You just put the king on d6. Yeah. Right, is the tournament still going?
Stalemate. It's stalemate. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. And so still going. Who do we want to see? Let's see. We might have to see some more David Wilson. I think we do. We need to see some more David Wilson. Here we go. Oh, no, that didn't work. I think the game must have just ended. Right, so English chess players. Oh, we are in relegation zone. We're actually 1 point behind 7th and 2 points behind 6th. So it is going to be right.
And how much time have we got left?
7.5 minutes left.
So we're in the relegation zone. So how many?
In the relegation zone, but we could catch up. Now we haven't seen Jensen yet, so let's see Jensen.
So threatening queen b2, mate.
Ooh.
Maybe c3, yeah? Yeah, bishop c3 is a good move. If you take, the problem is, but you could take on c3 and take on f3.
Blue Grey Haze, it won't help if we play at this point because we won't be in the top. Only the top 10 or so count, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really like. I think when you got a technically one position, Natasha, you don't need to overcome. I don't really like the move bishop h6 because now the bishop on c3 could become like a relevant attacking piece. I would have just traded on c3.
No, it's on freeze at the moment.
Now rook c3 is threatened. Yeah, so he's gone for the end game, but of course you can take on d4, right?
Yes, I think he will.
You can take on d4.
Oh.
Queen
now
b6.
Plays queen takes rook.
No, queen takes.
Oh, no, queen takes queen, even better.
Oh dear, you missed
Danny. Okay,
still queen game on now.
Queen takes queen.
Yeah, this is better. This is better for white. This is better for white's position, but
yeah, get the rook in. And maybe h4. Or now, can we take on e7? He has. Oh yes.
this is
well done, Jensen.
Well done, Queen G7.
Well done. Great timing. Okay. Tournament. All right. So, oh, we're still in 8th. Oh, it's level between us and the team above. So we need Wood Pusher. David Wilson. We need David Wilson. Okay, he's starting another game. We need David Wilson to do the business in this game. No pressure, David.
Maybe f5 is a good move here. No, e4, but knight e4.
That's on prees, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't like e4. I thought like e4 was too quick.
Yeah.
You didn't need it.
Oh, he's going to go rook e8, is he, and try and take on no pressure, David, no pressure, and take on e2. Maybe is his plan. You just did just then, Danny. That sounded exactly like Alan Sugar on The Apprentice when he's not quite convinced by an idea.
Well, no, I mean, I think black's still better, but I don't think you need to go e4. But like rook b8 here would be a good
rook b8, yeah.
Just pressurize b2, I think. And like queen a4 is potentially met by bishop b5. No, but that's a very bad move because now you can just take on c3.
Take on c3, yeah.
And rook c1. Yeah, maybe it's better to take the bishop because now the problem is c6 is dropping. There's just queen f6 though. There's queen f6, which defends c6. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, now black should be technically winning because of the extra pawn and the bishop pair and the dark squares. Rook b6 is probably a reasonable move, just to overprotect c6. I'll probably play something like rook b6. So that I could maybe bring the bishop back to c8 even sometimes. Or queen d6 is a good move. Bishop back to c8 probably.
Oh right, and reroute it around to what, like h3?
Yeah, or just take it off being attacked, you know, like rook b5 here, maybe rook b5 has got b4, but then a5, like b4, like a5, a3 trade, or just trade and then play something like rook e8 or h5 or bishop h3. Yeah, bishop h3 is a good move here because then you get. Then you can bring the other rook to b8 and put pressure on b4. So yeah, h4 is a good move. I like the way he's played this. I mean, this is quality stuff.
Yeah. Go, David. So I'm thinking he might go, well, king h7. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, to try and go bishop h6, which has been allowed. So
yeah, I don't really know. Knight e4 is a clever tactic there. Knight e4, bishop takes knight. No, but then c1 was hanging. So, but then b5 was hanging. So maybe knight e4 would have worked, but it was a bit extravagant. There's no need for it.
Yeah.
So maybe here queen h4 is a good move because then you're threatening bishop h3.
Oh,
and
yeah,
also b4 is weak.
Yeah.
So queen h4 is very strong. Maybe you can trade and take on b4.
Yep. Now, 20 seconds left, David.
Yeah, he should win this. That was another thing that Jabava, one of his videos, that he was getting upset on. G5 was a good move there, just winning piece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting very upset because his opponent offered him carried on. He refused his draw offer.
All right.
In one of these tournaments.
Yeah.
And Jabava was like saying, "Why are you refusing my draw offer?" Because there's this kind of rule in some of these tournaments that the game just gets like,
oh, bishop e5 there was.
Oh my god.
Hitting the queen to the king.
Yeah, the game just gets stopped, right? The game just gets stopped at some point if the tournament's already finished. Yeah, so this is David's going to win.
David's going to win. Are we going to get rook and bishop? Oh, well done, David. Black's out of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're in 8th. Okay. Oh, we're further behind actually than we were. All right. Let's see Blair. Oh, Blair against berserking against GM Soltayev.
All right. Is that Mikhail Soltayev? I think I've heard of it.
Let me see who that is.
Mikhail Soltayev.
Germany.
Yeah, he's probably originally from Russia, I believe. I don't think.
Mikhail Soltayev, Grandmaster 1995.
Yeah, I think he's
played for
actually...
Uzbekistan.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, he's kind of Russian, right? He's not originally from Germany.
Mm.
He seems to get the same structure every game. Like he's got the same structure here.
Blair, yeah, he does.
Where he's got this kind of...
But look, it's nice. Look, he's starting to put his queen in on it.
No, he's winning this. He's winning this. Probably Queen F7 is good.
Queen F7.
King
D6. Oh, King D6.
But then E5 maybe, and E6 is hanging. So Queen F7 is good enough.
Yeah. Come on, Blair.
Or even just castle queenside and just crushing attack. Take on D5, like rook E1. It's all going to crumble for black. I don't know what went wrong for black in the opening, but it seems to have a totally lost position. Yeah, just cast. Yeah, casting
kingside. That's what he did before as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then rook E1 is coming. Like rook E1, I would play here. Yeah, rook E1 is good. And now take on D5, and if you take back, I have rook E8, mate.
Brilliant, brilliant, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, 95 was the move.
Crowd groans. And yeah, probably have to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
David.
This is not the way to convert. Because now bishop C5, it's not actually not. I mean, still winning, but it's like Queen F7 is a good move here. No, yeah, I don't like this. It's probably still going to be enough. Yeah, but it's still very bad for black actually because E6 is hanging and it's just very, very bad.
Of course, Soltayev's getting an increment and
he's getting an increment, but the position's still very bad. Bishop E5.
Yes, yeah.
Like, yeah, bishop G2 is a good move, and then rook E3 I would have played. Queen E5 is good. Yeah, this is still winning. Yeah, because like.
Oh, you said she's not on. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, no problems, David. David says thanks for the commentary.
Oh yeah, thank you, David. Time's going to be Ushko's problem now. Oh
dear.
Oh, that's a shame. That was so promising, wasn't it?
Yeah, he could have just won the game with that knight d5 tactic on the spot, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's all over. It's all over.
Yeah.
Right.
So how have we got on?
We were 8th actually, so we have been relegated. Next time,
right,
we will be in Division 4B.
Right.
But some good games there. So yes, good play by the English chess players. Not quite enough tonight. Shame about the result. Give Keith some grief for not playing. I think maybe was he 4-0, Danny?
Yeah, it's 4. He wouldn't have been able to play because he's normally traveling.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
I mean, he played. To be fair, he plays enough, doesn't he? He plays a lot.
He does play a lot.
Grief for never playing. I think I'll play for another team. Actually, I'm over the Judas. I have played in this, but I've only played for a team called Absolute, I think.
Okay.
Who are in another, I don't know if they're in the same division, but similar kind of division.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very tired.
Well, one day, Danny, when you feel like it, when you feel like practicing your 3+2, we will see you.
I will do so. No problem at all. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for playing. Thanks everybody also for your comments in the chat. Thanks, Danny, for commentating, and thanks everyone very much for watching.
Yeah.